finish it. But other than that, it was a fantastic night. Beyonce, badass. Number 3, Michael Jackson.
What?
My parents, no matter what was going on, tried to make me and my brothers, happy. We weren't like rich or anything. My dad was in Air Force, didn't make that much money back in the day. But he came to Charleston. Being as big fans as we were, my mom and dad actually took us. Now, this was back in the day with the parachute pants with the zippers and the jacket. We're talking old school Beat It Michael Jackson. We were in the very top, so I didn't really get to see much of him, but it was one of those religious experiences that you'll never forget in your entire life. And I remember I had on my black parachute pants with the zippers, I had a red shirt, and before Chucks were cool back in the day, I had some Chucks, but they weren't Chucks.
You were the trendsetter.
They were kids. High top kids.
Kids.
That is show number 3.
We were talking about when you brought up Chucks. For me, I was always a Vans guy growing up.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I bought Vans is because they were like $20 in whatever store you went to. Nowadays, you go to the mall, they're like $150. What happened?
They are.
Did everybody just start buying Vans?
I just got an email saying that right now they're having a special 50% off their Chuck Taylor 2s. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get it because they're like $110.
Yeah.
The ones I have on now are $85.
Gosh. Man.
Half off. Yeah, I'm going to get those things, but I don't have the money right now, so it ain't going to happen.
All right. Number 4.
Number 4 was Lady Gaga. Was an okay fan with Lady Gaga. The girl can sing. She is gorgeous and very talented. Until I saw her live, it changed my whole perception of this woman. The girl is amazing. Just flat out freaking amazing. And it was one of those shows that my wife wanted to go to, but she couldn't because work came up and she was pissed. I'm like, I got these tickets and I can't let them go to waste.
Yeah, the ladies love their Lady Gaga.
Lady loves some Lady Gaga. So I had to take her sister. Not as cool as her being there, but we had an okay time. Now, me being the guy that I am, looking the way I do, I stuck up like a thumb that had been beat with a sledgehammer and it was pulsating red.
I could see that.
Yes. Stuck out. There was dudes dressed like girls, girls dressed like dudes. There was tutus, there was glitter, there was rainbows, unicorns, and me in my Chucks, my jeans.
And your Superman shirt.
And my Superman shirt. But the girl is freaking amazing. I suggest anybody who hasn't seen Lady Gaga, go see Lady Gaga. It will change your life.
All
right. That's what, number 4? All right. Number 5, Jay-Z.
Man, some of these I know you've been to every show, but you're wowing me with this list. I'm like, I never thought that you were, wow, okay.
Okay, Jay-Z.
Where did you see Jay-Z at?
At the Chesapeake Arena when it first opened up and the Thunder just started playing there. Now, this is one of those was a last-minute show that I got to go to. And, of course, Jess didn't get to go because of work, and she was pissed about that one as well. But I'm like, I'm not missing Jay-Z. So, went down to the city, had a good time. We get there, and I found out that I got a meet and greet pass. But it wasn't a meet and greet pass per, like, to meet Jay-Z. You got to go to the meet and greet, which already happened before I got there, the VIP room. So you go down to the VIP room, and it's like a whole nother world because it was in one of the Thunder's locker room rating rooms. So all the Thunder players were there. So I walk in, and I about pissed myself because in front of me was KD, there was Russell, there was Perk.
Ibaka.
The whole crew was there. And I was more enthusiastic about me being in the room with all the Thunder team at that point in time than watching Jay-Z perform.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like a giggly girl, just like, don't do what you're doing. You're doing it. Oh my God, stop doing it. You're doing it. So I went up to Russell. You're probably not supposed to do this right now, but I am like the number one. You probably hear that all the time too. Number one fan. Is there any way possible I can get a pick? Just one.
Did he do it?
He looked at me and he kind of smiled and he was kind of like, hey man, I get it, but you really can't do that in here. I'm sorry. And it kind of crushed me for him. I was like, oh, damn, it got denied. But he made it up.
And then what do you do after that?
I know. He just kind of shook my hand and said, it's all cool, man. It's all good. What's your name? He talked to me for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which made up for it. Because I remember that more than I would take me remember the picture.
You have been cheering for the Thunder since the beginning.
Since day one.
So, yeah.
I wasn't on the bandwagon. I built the wagon. I built it.
Yeah.
All right. So the show goes on. And Katie was in the room, by the way. He was there when I walked in, but he left.
Okay.
So I can just say nothing to him.
He's a
and then the show
anyways.
starts, and we get to go to his special VIP part of the stage.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, this Jay-Z's going, killing it. And next thing I look to the side, my periph over here, and there's KD. I'm like, oh, my God. And he's walking. And that dude's tall.
Yeah.
Extremely tall. And I wanted to walk over there and look at him and go shake his hand and say what's something, but I didn't want to because the show was going on. I'm like, hey, if I'm watching the show, I don't want to be bothered, so I'm not going to go bother that man and mess up his night. But I kept staring. I was like, do I go? Do I not go? After, there was one point in time where he caught me looking at him. So I'm like, he was kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And I wanted to go say, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like creep you out or anything. But I just kind of left it alone and just turned around the rest of the night and just left it alone. And then he just walked off the stage. And by that time, people realized it was him and they were taking pictures and getting autographs. And I'm like, damn it, I should have did it. And to this day, I regret it. All right. Next one, Rammstein.
Du Hast.
Du Hast.
Yeah, the German guy.
Yes. At this point in time, I had no idea who Rammstein was. I heard the name, heard the music, didn't know what they looked like, what they did, anything about it. So I go to this show, and they're opening up. They come out guns blazing. Just fire from the guitars. There's pyro. There's crazy women dancing around, speaking all German, so I have no idea what they're saying.
But it sounds cool.
And midway through their set, the lead singer, I don't remember his name, he takes out this crossbow and he shoots it like into the audience. So everybody's like, ah!
What?
But apparently there was some kind of trick where it was on a wire, so it shot up like a firework up into the back, and all of a sudden this big explosion happened on stage. It was badass.
Huh.
It was badass. I have much respect for Rammstein now, even though I don't know a word they're saying.
I think they have new music out.
They do have new music out. So that was experience. It was a really good one, too. All right, next one. We're going with Ice Cube.
You saw Cube?
I saw Cube.
Promo Dave and I had a phase in high school where we would go to the movie theater and see every one of his movies. We saw Players Club in the movie theater. Next Friday in the movie theater.
Yes.
Obviously didn't see the original. A little young, but yeah.
Ice Cube.
You saw Ice Cube at concert.
Ice Cube, and that's one of the things I want to check off my list because back in the day when I was a young little buck, I was big into NWA. Yeah. I started off with punk and metal, and then I was the last person to get into rap, even though I'm a black dude, which makes no sense. I finally got into rap, and when I got into it, there was Public Enemy, and there was NWA. NWA to me was one of those, like, I know I shouldn't be listening to it, but I did, and it somehow, some way, it reached me. And I was a big fan of Cube. Cube had that voice, besides Easy, that was like, yes, you believed him.
Very authoritative.
You believed every word he said, every word. So when he left NWA, it broke my heart. I mean, I was crushed because I'm like, how am I going to like NWA with no Ice Cube? And no Ice Cube, and they were fighting back at each other, too, at that point in time. They did not like each other. If you didn't watch the movie, you should watch it. Straight Outta Compton, badass movie. So anyway, I finally got to see Cube. And it took me back to my back in the day when I was like on the school bus with the boom box and everybody and the cool kids sat in the back. And it wasn't all this gangster rap. It was like, it was awesome.
You had your Adidas jacket.
Yes, it was awesome. Oh, it was awesome. It was one of those, I didn't get to meet him or talk to him or anything, but just going to that show and seeing him still do what he does and not miss a beat, and still look kick-ass and be badass, and it was awesome. It was one of those, like, I'm glad I got to see that. All right, this is like number 8 right now. George Clinton.
You saw George Clinton?
George Clinton.
And the P-Funk?
And the P-Funk.
Hey.
I liked George Clinton because my dad, when I was a kid, listened to George Clinton. It's one of those things that was always, like, around. And
the basis of any good rap song is a George
Clinton
Clinton
song. Anything good
song.
came out of George Clinton, hence Ice Cube and NWA.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like I had to do a lot of stuff to get to go to the show. I mean, I had to like ask off work. I had to save some money. I had to make sure I had to, because I lived in Barnesville at the time and he was here in Tulsa.
Yeah, you played a show at the Kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Promo Dave went to that show.
It was amazing. Amazing to see this dude, how old as he is, not miss a beat, still be freaking cool. And just like everything good in music somehow, some way revolves around, I'm going to say it, George Clinton and P-Funk. Without him, you wouldn't have really most of anything that goes on in this world.
No. He was
like
really before his time.
Way before his time. Way before his time. And to see him, I mean, I'm glad the dude's still alive. Thank the Lord. But it's kind of like I had to see him before anything happens to this dude. And I finally got to see him. And one of these days, I want to see him again because it will change your life. All right, 2 more. All right. Well, you already said the U2 one.
Oh, that made your top 10.
That made it, yes. Yeah. I was there at that show as well. I was there with Jess, and we were down there on the field next to the stage. When I got there, I didn't know that's where we're at. So we get in there, we walking around, we realize where our section was, And we just like fell over like, oh my God, I cannot believe this, because I actually bought the tickets before we got tickets here. I didn't know we were getting tickets. So I bought them because there was no way I was going to miss this show, which thank God I did, because I got some good seats. But we weren't sitting, we were standing. Anyway, we get there. I think, who was opening up? Who opened up that show? Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas did. And there were shows, I remember on that tour, the first leg, they had Muse opening up.
Yes, which I thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
But that last show was in Dallas. And when the next show was with us in Oklahoma City, and it was Black Eyed Peas. I was
when
like,
you walked in, you saw Fergie dancing around.
Yes.
It was kind of like, let down. I mean,
they were still really good, but it wasn't no
not
Muse.
as good as
It
Muse.
was not Muse, no.
Yeah.
Muse and U2, jeez, that would, man, my head would explode. But we finished watching Black Eyed Peas, which changed my mind. They were really good live, but it wasn't Muse. So during intermission, where they were changing sets, there was this guy over next to us. One of those guys who thinks like he's just a badass, has a little money, can get any woman he wants kind of dude.
just oozes douchiness.
Oozes douchiness. This oozes, like out of his pores, oozes douchiness. And he wanted to get in front of us. So he kept like, excuse me, kind of like put his arm out to cut in front. Excuse me. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get through. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. No, you are not.
Like, I paid for these seats.
I've been here this whole entire time. I've not seen you once, man. Yeah. You've been over here next to me. You're trying to get closer. You're not getting closer in front of me. You're not going to do it. So he started to bulb. He's like, what did you say? I'm like, no is what I said. And by this time, everybody around us is starting to look at us. I'm like, no. We've been there this whole entire time. He's pushing this little girl. Are you okay, ma'am? Yes, I'm okay. You've been pushing her whole entire time, trying to get past her. As you can tell, she does not want that, nor do I. So you're not cutting in front of us. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, yeah, you're not cutting in front of us. I'm that dude now. I'm that dude that I don't like at a show. Dang it. I'm like, you see what you did, man? Now you got me cussing. And I was cussing big time.
Well, it's you too. You paid for the seats. There's a whole lot of factors going into why you snapped, man.
Oh, my gosh. The guy finally backed off and he walked away. And my wife looked at me and was kind of like, I've never, ever, ever seen you do that before. I've never seen you do anything like that before. I was kind of scared and really turned on right now.
Yeah. So I'm like, Brady's totally getting laid that night.
And then U2 came on and made me cry, and it was badass, and that was an amazing night.
It's like an emotional whirlwind.
Dude, U2 would change your life. Yeah. Good Lord.
Really?
All right.
One
more. Garth Brooks. Now
which Garth Brooks show? Because he did a whole lot of them at the BOK Center, and he also was played a free show in Norman.
This was the one here at the BOK Center.
Okay.
And I think it was the second night, I think. Yeah. And I
can't see you enjoying yourself at a country concert.
And this is the thing. I really don't listen to much country. But since we've got, the country station here, I have had to listen to more country. And I've always appreciated it. It's not my thing, but I do appreciate it and the people who do it. Now, there's country, and then there's the other country.
Yeah.
He's country.
And
well respected, as he should be.
Yeah.
So, got to meet him. Amazing dude. Extremely nice. Takes the time to talk to people and actually get to know them and know what they want, what they do, where they've been, where they're going. I mean, it's like sitting down in his living room and having a conversation with this dude, and you forget he's actually Garth Brooks.
There was like a week where he was up here at the station doing interviews and whatnot down the hall.
He was.
And so that was a really random but cool experience.
Very cool.
You would be walking down the hall.
And there's Garth Brooks.
There's Garth Brooks. And he just went to the pisser or something. You're like, what? And I'll never forget J.J. Ryan, who was working with us at the time. And, we're sitting out in the hall doing our thing, just kind of visiting and whatnot. And Garth Brooks goes into the men's room. And then J.J. walks by. He's just got his nose in his phone and everything, walks into the men's room. And then, like 2 seconds later, walks out. There's freaking Garth Brooks in there. I can't pee whenever he's right next to me.
He wouldn't have minded. He's that nice.
Yeah.
Oh. Really genuine dude. And then when he went on stage and performed, everything he did was amazing. I see why this dude's been around for so long, selling hit after hit, records, money, yeti, whatever. The dude is fantastic live. And he makes it to where, like, you're in the show. You're not just watching a show. You're in the show. Like, you're on stage with him.
Yeah.
And dudes is freaking just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. I've been knowing about Garth